Welcome to another episode of the Brown Couch Bros.
Brown Couch Bros back again.
Customary toast, my brother.
Always.
All right, we got a show today. We got a special guest in the house tonight. But before we go there, let's tip it off.
Tip drill.
Tip drill. How was your week?
Week was good. Had a short week this week. I'm off the rest of the week, headed down to Louisiana, brother.
Where you going to Louisiana for?
Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Southern University homecoming.
Wow. You know, that's one of the regrets that I have is that I didn't go to a HBCU, so there's really no place for me to go back. But I did today wear my St. Francis red flag shirt. So I'm in the house a little bit, you know. But what a week in sports. We saw the Chicago Sky win the WNBA championship. Shouts out to Candace Parker. This is number 2 for her. Came
in her first year and won the ship.
Yeah, first year with the Chicago Sky and back at home. A Chicago native. It was really good to see her win one for her hometown. Kind of following the steps of the LeBrons of the world, right?
Well, you know, it's a commercial out with Candace Parker, and I didn't really realize they were talking about her until the end of the commercial and all her accomplishments. Of course, she's arguably one of the greatest female basketball players that ever played the game. So, like you said, shout out to Candace Parker.
Yeah, at some point we got to take the female part out and just say one of the greatest basketball players.
I agree.
Because I was watching, I was listening to a talk show, WNBA, the NBA radio show. And there was a guy that called in and said, listen, can we trade Anthony Davis for Candace Parker? It seemed like she played more games than him. So at some point, we got to start talking about the women's game and really saying to ourselves, these women, in terms of the skill level, are on par with a lot of the men.
Definitely. A lot of these women playing today are been playing the game for a long time. A lot of times we don't recognize them like we should, but we talked about it in the last episode. The 25 years the WNBA has been in existence, and the players that have came out of that league, they're coaching now, the Dawn Staleys of the world, the Lisa Leslies of the world. So, you know, shout out to the WNBA for still being out there and vibrant.
Yeah, and shout out to Candace Parker and the Chicago Sky for winning it. I saw. It seemed like the whole city was out during that celebration, during that game. You had a chance to wrap her on the scene with the team, so it was really good to see.
Chicago is one of those towns, kind of like Detroit. They need something like that, the distraction to keep away the violence and stuff like that. So
no doubt, huge lift for that city. What about your Lions?
Next subject. Hey, it is what it is, you know. Oh man, 0-6, lost a couple of tough ones the last couple of weeks on late field goals, long field goals. Lions out of Lions, brother. Same old Lions.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, I guess. I mean, I didn't expect much out of this group this year. But when you talk about a team that's 0-6 right now, and it's really no help in sight for this group.
None.
It's just a total lack of leadership, I think. From the almost the coaching staff on down with a lot of those guys, and so we'll see what happens next week, I guess.
Well, next week, you mean this week against the Rams?
Against the Rams, Matthew Stafford. What do you think?
0-7. Maybe against Philly coming back next week after next. Maybe at home against Philly. I don't see him going 0-17, but. I don't know. It's a long road for the Lions.
Well, we can't really say that because did you think that the 0-16 group would go 0-16?
Yeah.
Well, on a happier note, you got Michigan and Michigan State.
Big game coming up in 2 weeks.
Both schools undefeated. Good game. Huge game coming up in a couple of weeks. When was the last time that Michigan and Michigan State met when they were undefeated?
That would be a good question. It might be a good question to ask, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we got a guest in the house. Great segue.
Great segue.
To our guest, and I'm going to let you introduce our guest.
Let me introduce this man. Been knowing this man a long time. I'm talking about since we were kids. You know, 79, 80, 81 Cubs, and just throughout life. He's been seeing my son's journey. He's been a voice in my ear, a voice in his ear, and he's here today. The one and only Tony Blankenship. Glad to have you here, brother.
Thank you guys, man.
Welcome to the Brown Couch
Thank you guys
Bros.
for having me. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Toast it up.
Much love, fellas.
So let's start it off. Where you from? Born and raised, what neighborhood?
I'm born and raised Detroit. I grew up in the northwest side of Detroit, on Finkel and Manor, probably less than a mile from Cooley High School. One direction, and then going north, probably about a mile and a half from Mumford High School. So when you get your letters back then, because you lived in a district, you were supposed to go to your neighborhood high school. Mm-hmm. And we got a letter. We got a letter to go to Mumford. And I mean, no disrespect to Mumford, man. Yeah, that didn't happen, though.
But then also, your brother was already at Murray, correct?
He was at Murray, but that's another story. Hopefully, you have him to come in.
Exactly. I think we talked about that before. Yeah.
I don't want to spoil that for you. I think that's something you guys should hear.
Exactly.
But I followed. He was at Murray, so obviously we played Little League football together, and I wanted to follow and play with him. Mm-hmm. And it was important that we had a chance to continue to play together. And he was always somebody I looked up to, of course, and he was my hero. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to be like him as an athlete. So, look, he was at Murray, so I was going to Murray. If he was going anywhere, I was going to go.
Correct.
It didn't matter what school it was at that particular time. So,
tell us about that journey at Murray. Those 4 years that you were there. I know you had some competitive teams.
Yeah,
great coaching, Coach Moore, correct?
Earl Moore.
Yeah,
was our head coach during that time. Very competitive teams. I was blessed enough to play as a freshman. I started as a freshman at corner and at receiver, and we played against some really good football teams. Bernard Hall, who's a legend in Detroit, and played against them in the championship my freshman year.
Okay.
I'll never forget that experience, of course. But we were good. We only lost 2 games that year, my freshman year, and then I ended up taking over the realm. My brother was the quarterback, and then he went to Iowa State, and I became the starting quarterback at Murray Red High School my sophomore year when I played against this young man right here, David Webb.
Yeah, we came over to Murray that year.
Came over to Murray and put it on me.
Yeah.
Put it on us. Man, so
I feel another football story. I feel another Al Bundy Polk High football story coming on.
Hey,
You want to get that out the way now?
No,
so
it was just a good game. It was a good game.
You can tell him, Dane. Go ahead.
We kind of handled them pretty good. I think it was like 32-8, something like that.
I don't know what it was that.
Said Boswell caught 2 touchdowns.
He did. Not against me, though.
And one of them, as he was running to the end zone, he jumped. He just took a step. There wasn't nobody by him. He was like, "Man, why you jump over there?" It was a dead bird on the field.
I believe it. That's a story I didn't know about. But
He'll tell you.
I ain't surprised.
He just running all by himself. The next thing you know, he just jumped. He was like, "What you jumping for?" He said, "It was a dead bird on the field."
Wow. I didn't know
But that was BSL football.
Yeah, well, yeah. Our fields weren't probably the best.
Chassis had glass on their field. I mean, went over to Chassis. It was, cans, glass. We played. Just like you did it in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, so you come out of Murray Wright in 89. I mean, you compete in the PSL, and at the time, I mean, Damon just talked about it. Some great players in the PSL during that time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the players you played against in the PSL.
Again, I go back to Bernard and, Vincent Downson. And
Bolo.
Just a lot of great guys. Darnell Dickerson, Daryl Beard. That's, in my early years. And as I got older, Kerwin Moore played at King High School. Terrence Wheatley played at King High School. Lewis Lowe played at Osborne High School. Johnny Oglesby, God rest his soul.
Yeah, Johnny O.
At Detroit Central. And Robert Hunt. Quarterback at Central. And Carlos Marino.
Man, you name it.
These legends,
yeah,
man.
Guys definitely could have played on the next level. Yeah, definitely.
Played against a lot of great players, man. And I played against those guys in Little League, too. So, it's a thing where it lasted for a lot of years, our competitive nature and us going against each other during those times. A lot of great players, man. A lot of great players.
4 great years at Murray Wright, all city, all state, defensive back.
Quarterback too.
Quarterback, yeah,
all right.
throw that in there.
Quarterback and defensive back, and you end up at U of M.
I did.
Could have been any other schools besides U of M. Who else was recruiting you at the time?
Man, I'm gonna be careful with this because my mom and dad may see that.
You send them the link, they definitely gonna see it.
I hope nobody knows. Look, I wasn't going to Michigan, man. My brother, and everybody knows my brother's not a Michigan fan.
Okay.
He's just not, for whatever reason. And I was recruited by Syracuse, Michigan State, Colorado, Minnesota, and during that particular time, those were my visits. UCLA, Notre Dame, everybody was involved, but those were my visits that I took during that particular time. And Colorado was a great time for us during that time. Coach McCartney was the head coach.
Was Westbrook there at that time?
Westbrook was coming behind us.
Okay.
Eric Bieniemy.
Bieniemy was there?
Yeah.
I grew up about 3 blocks away from Westbrook.
Really?
Both grew up on Burnett.
Oh, okay.
West Warren. He went to Chas.
Yep, sure did.
Yeah.
Legend. Yep. He just got inducted to the Hall of Fame, I think.
Yep.
So, congratulations to him. Westside Cub.
Westside Cubs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Syracuse was a really the place I thought I was going to go. I verbally committed probably to everywhere. I wanted
You wanted to lock in.
I locked in.
You locked in. Right.
Yeah, I'm coming. Everywhere I went, I'm coming.
Yeah.
But Colorado probably was a little bit too far. Ronnie Woolfolk and I went on that visit together. He was a Henry Ford legend. And he committed. I committed, was like, yeah, okay, I don't know if I'm coming to Colorado, bro. That's on the other side of the country. At that time, every game wasn't on TV.
Right.
And I think that played a part for my parents, too, and the influence. And obviously, it was the University of Michigan, too. But I can tell you this. When I did go on my visit to Michigan, the genuine nature of those guys and how they treated me was unlike anything I had experienced.
Who hosted you?
Well, Bobby Abrams was
Bobby
my
from
host.
here. Bobby?
He's from Detroit.
Henry
Ford.
Yeah,
legend.
Yeah.
Bobby was a great dude. He was older, seasoned. And, and everybody know what that means, man. Look, I'm 18. Bobby is senior at Michigan. He might have been his 5th year. So he might have been like 22. So that's a big difference, conversation-wise.
Exactly.
For a kid coming in, and that's still in high school, that's talking to a 22-year-old grown man. So for me, talking to Bob, man, and he was real just, well, Blank, man, this is what they're going to do, and this is how it's going to be. And I'm like, man, this too serious, man. But he was very, upfront. He was great. But the thing that he did, and the reason I went to Michigan, he has a lot to do with this. He put me around some guys who were like me, personality-wise. Lance Dotton, Mike Evans, during that particular time, Jared Bunch. It was just some really good dudes. Tony Bowles. These dudes were older, but they were really cool guys, man. They did not treat me, like I was some, whatever, recruit, whatever, you just coming in and take our spot. And now, being older, and I can look at it now, I know why. They were studs. They were big-time college football players. They ain't had to treat me no kind of way. They had already established themselves.
Exactly.
Leroy Horde was in that group. So
Leroy.
I never forget we were on Brown Street. And anybody know from Michigan know what Brown Street is that particular time. That was, the apartments were there, and football players hung out there, and that's kind of where the parties were at. So they took me and I hung out with those guys, man. And again, it was just no nonsense. It was it was fun, and wasn't nobody wasn't trying to sell you no BS. It was like, look, man, you come here because you want to be here with us, and we got a chance playing the Rose Bowl every year. We got a chance to win the Big Ten championship every year. You're gonna be on national TV every week. We don't know what else to tell you.
And that was big back then.
Yes.
That was big.
Yeah, it's major to be able to tell your parents you're gonna play on national TV, or tell your friends you're gonna play on national TV every week. This isn't Pop Warner here. This is University of Michigan.
Yeah.
How much of an influence was Coach Moeller on your decision? Man,
you know what? Gary Moeller, phenomenal coach and even better man. And that's nothing against Bo. Bo, we were part of Bo's last recruiting class. A lot of people don't know that. But Bo retired after my freshman year.
So you was up under Bo for one.
I was under Bo for 1 year, and Bo left and became the assistant AD or something at Michigan.
Was he at Michigan or did he take the Tigers?
Or something?
The president of
the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
But Gary Moeller took over during that particular time, and just a players coach, ultimate players coach, but no nonsense as well. So he had the balance, and I only know that now because I've coached for 20-something plus years, and I know the importance of being able to have relationships with your players and be able to be stern, and make sure you're doing what they're doing what they're supposed to do, but you're still gonna have a conversation with them. Your door is still open for them. Gary Moeller had a lot to do with how I coached. When I became a head football coach, he figured it out. And I loved it. I really loved playing for him. The only thing that I can say negative about Gary Moeller is he brought me into his office after my freshman year with Bo and said, "I'm moving you to safety." Like, what? But people don't understand the story. He didn't move me to free. I got moved to strong safety.
Oh, so you had up closer to the line of scrimmage.
I'm a linebacker.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
I'm playing linebacker. I'm in the box. I'm the fourth guy off the edge. I'm 190 pounds. I played quarterback since I was 8 years old.
Right.
Wow.
I played free safety in high school. Never played defense in little league. So people who knew me, hey, this dude's a quarterback. That's what I was. I was a quarterback. But I was an athlete too. So I took it upon myself to take it on as a challenge, and I was going to try to conquer that particular challenge. So I appreciate what Coach Moeller brought to University of Michigan. Man, we didn't lose a bowl game when he was there.
And you were beating the Ohio State on a regular basis
every year. I never lost to him.
Right. See, there you go.
Yeah,
so,
and Gary, we won every bowl game. This dude wouldn't have us. We wouldn't practice the day, like 2-3 days before the game. We wouldn't be. He would have us just like in helmets, walkthroughs. He had a different perspective. He was way before his time because, like what guys do now with the NCAA and the rules, he was already doing it. So Bo had us doing tour-a-days.
Wow.
During bowl practice. Gary was like, nope, we going shoulder pads and helmet on Wednesday. We going helmets only on Thursday. We walk through on Friday. And this happened throughout the whole season that I was there, every year that we were there with him. We were in a hotel on Fridays. We didn't practice on Fridays.
Right.
But when Bo, man, we were out there practicing.
So I guess Bo would be considered more of a player's. Moeller would be considered more of a player's coach today.
No question.
That's essentially what that is transformed into.
No question. He like and look, I say this with all sincerity and respect to all the coaches out there over the years. He was before his time. He had it figured out before these dudes. Right now in 2020, he was doing it already in 1992. He was doing it. Yeah. So
sometimes working smarter is better than working
harder.
Oh, no doubt.
In a lot of instances, especially when it comes to coaching.
Yes.
And it's interesting that you mentioned something too. You talked about how Bo called you into his office and told you that he was moving your position. Well, if that happened today,
no, guys in the portal.
Now kids in the transfer portal. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, you're in the portal now, man. You out. Yeah. You gone. Well, and Dave may have remembered me telling the story. My brother, I was gone. My brother called me and was like, hey, man, it's time to go. He ain't like Michigan no way, but, Joe was like, hey, look, got Coach Oliver at Bowling Green on the line. He's ready for you to come up. You're going to be the starting quarterback. You got to sit out.
Joe had already negotiated everything. He already
worked it out for you.
My brother's a college athlete. He's a blue chipper, all these things. And he like, hey, man, look, you got to go. But I was already in, man. When I say I was already in, the experience and the camaraderie of your teammates, going to California, being on TV, I was sold, man. I was already in.
And then it's Michigan, the academics. You were getting the quality education.
I was getting a great education at the time.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And you build relationships, and people don't realize that it's bigger than what the football game and sports. You develop friendships with guys from all over the country. And
all over the world.
All over the world. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think y'all might have the biggest, next to like Notre Dame, one of the biggest alumni in the world.
Absolutely. And I would say, we're right there with them as well. So I didn't want to do it. And then I wanted to see if I could pull it off. I really was like, I'm going to try to do this. And, I knew it was, a tough situation. I'm a quarterback and I played DB in high school too, but I was a free safety in high school. And I didn't get the free safety till my junior year at Michigan. But I wasn't gonna give up. But bro was like, look, Coach Oliver on the phone. And a lot of people who gonna see this gonna know who that dude. He was a great man. He was a quarterback coach at Bowling Green at the time. You may have heard of him. And he was like, hey Tony, come on, let's go. You can transfer. You're gonna have to sit out the rest of this year, but you'll be ready to start here at Bowling Green. And all I was thinking was like, man, I just got through eating filet mignon.
Right, this is what we do. This is how we eat up here. Right.
Look, man, I ain't know what clam chowder was till I got to Michigan. You know, I'm eating filet mignon. I'm eating steak for lunch. We eating macaroni and cheese and great food every day.
Right.
This wasn't just game day. This was every day. Our training table was epic. People talk about it to this day. Our girlfriends ate good. During that time. The carryouts we would take back to the dorms.
Right.
What you having today? Oh, we got some meatloaf and some macaroni and cheese and some dressing. That's how we ate every day. So I was like, I'm going to Bowling Green, man. That might be a problem, bro. I don't know if they eating like that at Bowling Green. They playing against Toledo and Central Michigan and no disrespect, man. No disrespect, fellas.
Right.
Hamburger helper and Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
So listen, you finish at Michigan, you got your degree, and then you get into coaching.
Yeah.
And you come here back to the city. You came back.
I did.
That's the most important thing.
I did.
You came back to share your knowledge and everything. And you started out where? You went straight back to Murray,
I went
or
right back to my alma mater, and it was a goal of mine. One of your teammates and alums from McKenzie, Walter Smith, can attest to this. When I was a junior at Michigan, I said, man, when I get done playing, and I'm going when I get done out of the league, because that's our mindset.
That's everybody. Yeah, that's the mindset.
To the league. When I get done out of the NFL, I'm coming back to my high school and I'm gonna build a program. And I want it to be a phenomenal high school football program. But I knew that. So I don't know. Good Lord bless me, and it was something that was in me. I knew what I was gonna do when I got done, and I was talking about it while I was in college. And Walt can attest to that. When I was at Michigan, I was like, hey man, I'm going back to Murray and I'm gonna build a juggernaut. Because I want that for my high school. I felt like, Murray didn't get the respect it deserved. I just felt like it just wasn't looked upon the way it should have been looked upon. From a football perspective, it was a basketball mecca. It was a great basketball program.
Yeah, it was. They had some great, Bunton,
Yep.
Coward.
Yes.
Yeah. Trailer.
Yep. So I wanted to be able to bring that to my high school. And I was like, well, why not me? I play here. I go to Michigan. I come back. It's a great opportunity for me to build a program. So
a Murray Wright grad, an all-state performer while you were at Murray Wright. You go to the University of Michigan and you play for 4 years and have some success at the University of Michigan. You come back to Warren.
Yeah,
West Warren.
12th
Street.
Yeah.
Did they realize what they had in you? I mean, this doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's a great point. I can say this: the kids that were there during that time, and I was young. I was 22, 23 years old. I didn't have any problems because I think that I had a pass. You know what I mean? So I think the kids knew what they had. When I mean the students and the players, I think they kind of knew. I don't know if the adults knew, the impact that I could have, in that program, in that school, in that community. But the students was like, look, that's Coach Blank, and he went here, and he played here. So, I didn't get much flack, man. I didn't have any problems from that standpoint.
Now let me ask you this: since we're talking about high school coaching and football. It was a guy posted a topic on Facebook early this week on PSL football. He was like, why is it 2 championships? And I immediately kind of thought about you because you took a smaller school, Southwestern. You won a couple of division titles. And not only that, you won a city championship in a program that's downriver. Really nobody... Definitely basketball school at Southwestern. Yep. We all know that.
Yep.
But I remember when you were the coach there, and you had some other stops at Redford and I think Denby, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think Southwestern to me was special because it was like you took a bunch of kids just from scrap and won a championship.
Yeah. We had 19 players.
Wow.
On that team in 2008. We won a city championship with 19 kids. We really had a chance to go further. We lost to Country Day in the district championship game, 6-0.
Wow.
Our quarterback, who was an all-state dream team at that time, if he doesn't get hurt, we had a chance to go far, even with 19 kids. So, you know, I appreciate that, Dane, bringing that up. But shame on anybody at any level to say that, you know, why do they have 2 championships? Man, it's hard to win a championship in spades. It's hard to win a championship in poker. It's hard to win a championship in anything you do in life. Shame on any person, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, if you questioning somebody who won a championship.
No, I think he didn't understand the division breakup like Cass King, and a guy came on and said, well, you know, you got smaller schools now because charter schools and people moving out the district, which we didn't do. Yep. So he was saying, I don't understand what's the 2 championship thing. And so and the reason that been going on for a while.
Well, my passion and the way I feel about it, I've read some things too, like you. I saw some dudes talking about how it's Pop Warner high school football, and you don't belittle kids, don't belittle high school players.
That's true.
They out here competing, and they playing for whatever they were thrown in front of them. So don't blame them. Blame the system. And the people who created the system. If you got questions, and I'm not talking about this particular individual you're speaking of.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm speaking of guys who I've actually saw online try to degrade, you know, Division II championships.
Right.
And trust me when I tell you, I've had a chance to be a part of all of it. When I was at Murray, they didn't have that.
We didn't have that.
No, at all.
Right.
And even when I was a head football coach at Murray in 2001, when I took that particular team to the championship, we had to play 2 playoff games to get to the championship.
Wow.
See, and people don't realize all the different dynamics. If you're going to ask all the questions, come with all the facts. Talk about the fact that even now, they only play 1 playoff game. No, they don't even do that. They just play a championship game now. Before that, it was 1 playoff game, then a championship game.
You're right. There's no playoff game.
So talk about all these things. If you're going to bring up, you know, the fact that it's Division II and these guys are playing in a lower tier. Hey, look, they do, and a guy brought this up. They do it in the Catholic League. They do it in other places all over the country. It's not the kid's fault. It's not the coach's fault. You really just go out there and you compete the best you can against who's in front of you. I get that we're used to our way, you know, and what we know. But man, don't criticize, you know, people for going out and competing and going out and being successful, you know, in whatever competition that they're doing. Because to me, that's similar to saying, well, this woman who just won the heavyweight boxing championship, well, hers is not validated because she's a woman.
Right.
But you know, Tyson Fury just won as a man, and it's more important. No, it's work. It's hard.
To your point, and that's a great segue. Women's football. You were one of the first coaches, to branch off into professional women's football.
I did.
5 championships. Five.
Yep,
a 50-game winning streak.
Yep.
Around
44, I think.
Something like that.
Yep.
But how was that experience? And tell us a little something about that.
Man, that was
Detroit Demolition.
Detroit Demolition.
I think we went to a game.
I think we did.
We went to a couple of
games. Yep.
That was an amazing time. To have that kind of success. Again, man, you know, you competing against people who are playing the same sport you playing at the same time you're playing it.
Is the mentality, the young lady's mentality the same? Like, I know you have some killers out there. Did you have any particular players you'd be like, oh, look, she could have played at Murray, or she could have played?
That's the truth, man. I was just talking to a buddy of mine, Sean Alexander, and you know Sean. We had some girls. I had a girl named Jody Menzie, and Jody was a defensive back. And I'll never forget, Dame, I'm going through drills, DB drills, and I'm doing my regular just backpedal and press and drive, backpedal hip turn and drive, backpedal angle turn and drive. She was flawless. She was better than any kid I had ever coached.
Wow.
To that time. She was that good, and she was that special, and it was easy for her. It was flawless for her. She was that good of an athlete. Now, we've had a lot come through. Lori Aaron played. Bridget Porter, a young lady named Misty Finley who played for us from Canada. She was kicking 45-yard field goals.
Easy.
Wow.
So we were loaded. We had a lot of great players. Annie Otis, who's now a nun, who played at She played at UAD, but we had girls who played like college basketball. She was a point guard at UAD. Our quarterback Kim Grotus was a starting shortstop at Western Michigan.
So you had athletes.
We had the best athletes you could find.
Right.
We taught them how to play football.
These were women who were familiar with competing
Yes.
in other sports. And probably since they were little girls, were waiting for the opportunity to play football.
Yeah.
So what even brought you to that? Like how? What's the conversation?
That's a great question. So
that occurs,
Right.
that goes to you and says, "Hey,
that's that Murray.
we want you to coach this women's team." Like, what does that have?
Man,
What's
look,
the conversation?
I'm gonna make it brief as possible. So, I was at Murray, and I had just finished the championship season. We lost to Henry Ford in the championship 2001.
Okay.
Guy called me and said, "Hey, Blank, look, they got a women's team, man, and they looking for a head coach. They got some guys, but they need some experience, some guys who coached." I was like, "Women?" I was like, what?
Right.
And ladies, no disrespect, but I had never seen it.
Right.
So I didn't know anything about it. There's
Right.
no way I could know, he asked me, and I was like, "Man, that's flag. Y'all playing flag?" Dude was like, "No, they play football." He was like, "There's a league." I was like, "What?" And it was called the NWFL at the time, National Women's Football League. I was like, "Man, I don't know about all that." So he was like, "No, they're serious. They're doing this. This is happening." So it was at Beechwood Community Center out in South. Was that Southfield, Farmington, I believe. But we went out there. I got my high school coaches I was with at Murray. Coach Harlan, Coach Moore, who was my coach in high school. I put the whole staff. We all came and we went out there. We said we're gonna watch these girls work out because they already had some guys out there working them out, but not really doing football stuff, just calisthenics. It was like over 80 girls out there in this gym, and so for any coach, that's just like, man, that's like a smorgasbord.
Well, like I got 80 athletes, right?
The interest was there.
I was like, at 80 girls, I can figure out how to teach them how to play football.
Right.
And then when, like you mentioned earlier, the fact that they were the cream of the crop from their athletic, history, and you can see that from their drills. We watched them do just calisthenics.
Good feet.
Oh yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, she can do this. Oh yeah, I start just personnel. Life is personnel. People who don't understand that, they missing out. Anything in life is about knowing your personnel. I was able to see and recognize that these girls could do certain things. And we just started, man, breaking them off. Hey, look, she's going to be a linebacker. She's going to play D-end. She's going to play D-tackle. She's an O-lineman. She's got a chance to play quarterback, receiver. And we just broke it all down. We won a championship in our first year. The inaugural season, we won a national championship. And then we won 4 more, after that. It's pretty cool, man. Great experience to be 5-time national champion. Something nobody can never take away from you. To be able to have an influence like that, and for those women to have an impact on our lives like that in Detroit, they're champions for the rest of their lives. Detroit Demolition are champions for the rest of their lives. 5-time national champions.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
amazing.
I mean, and it was one of the things that really drew me to your resume, seeing that you coach women in football. I mean, it's just not something that you typically see.
No.
How were you received by your peers?
That's a great question. And once again, you guys, look, man, dudes, everybody wasn't so kind. Some, most people were. Most people were very supportive, but some dudes looked at it kind of like, man, that can deteriorate, that can deter your resume, that can deter what you're about. You're coaching women, like you brought up earlier with the WNBA and how far they've gone for 25 years. Look, it wasn't looked upon. It was frowned upon in some ways by certain people. So some of my peers didn't look at it, like it was something I should do. Kind of, it felt like it maybe would hamper,
your career,
my career,
like a career. It'd be your career killer.
It could be a career killer,
But you mentioned earlier about just a championship of any kind.
Yep.
Is a level of significance. I
Yep.
mean, there's a journey attached to that. There's hard work. There's sacrifice attached to it. You got to be a little lucky, and you got to have some talent.
Yes, you do.
So talk about some of the talent that you had on that group. You mentioned them a little earlier.
Yeah, it was an amazing amount of talent, and so many girls over that period of time that were really, really talented. But what they were able to do that's special for me is that they were sponges to the game. So the question that people would always ask is, what's the difference between coaching women and coaching men? Well, the one thing about women is they don't have any bad habits.
Yes.
So everything we told them, it was solid.
They believed
it. Everything. So you and any of you guys who played or anybody who played, we all played. The first time you tell a kid something, he think he know. Because he played. He's like, oh, man, my coach, I know how to do that. I can backpedal this way. I can run that way. No, you tell a woman, hey, look, this is what we need you to do. She did exactly what you told her to do. And there wasn't no questions behind it. it was why, if anything else. Well, why am I doing this? Because women are inquisitive. They gonna always ask you why.
They want to understand.
They want to understand. Yes, they want to know why. So that was always the why. That was we did a lot of the whys with them.
And it was a positive why.
Always.
It wasn't a why I can't do it
Why I
my
can't
way.
do it my way.
It was why should I do it this way? And whatever you say, okay, I got you.
And that was amazing for us as coaches. It enhanced my ability to coach. It made me a better coach because I was able to do something that I love to do, and I was able to do it consistently. So when I was done with high school football, we went right into women's football, which was the winter and the spring, which would be track for most people. But we were coaching in the spring and the summer. So our craft was constantly getting better.
You were enhancing your skills.
Always working on our, drills, working on our, trying to make sure the schemes are good. You practice schemes that you would practice with your boys, with the girls. Let me see if this will work. Let me try this blitz. Let me try this scheme offensively. Let me try this zone. Let me try something else with this passing game. And you would do all those things knowing that you would get a chance to get a realistic view because they're gonna do exactly what you tell them to do.
I watched a video of you talking to the team on YouTube, and this was right before a game. This is like the pregame, pep talk. Get them hyped.
A lot of profanity, bro.
It was a lot of profanity. But as coaches and as players, we always watch the players' reaction to what you're saying, right? And we look at everybody's eyes. Those women were focused on you. Yeah. And you coach them and talk to them like they've been playing football for 30, 20 years.
You could say it like they were men.
Yeah.
You could say it.
Yeah.
That's what people think,
Yeah, it was, talk about that. Just talk about your approach to it.
I coached them no different than I coached a man or a young man. I never cheated them. I felt like that they deserved to be coached and given the same opportunity that anybody you would coach the game in, because it was about the game for me. It's the game, the sport. And I'm not going to cheat them. So they're going to get everything in me to make sure they get the best opportunity to be the best football player they can be. I didn't care what they were. If you're an alien, you're a girl, you're a boy, I don't care what you are. You trying to play the sport of football. So my responsibility as a coach was to make sure I got the best out of them. And that didn't mean to judge or to look at them in a way of their gender. That had nothing to do with it. You got a job to do. So I coached them very, very hard. And that video probably exemplified that a little bit too much for me these days.
It got me ready. I was like, where's my pads? Where's my helmet? I'm ready to go right now. Put me in, coach.
Man, that was in Chicago. I remember that.
So listen. We talked about your journey from the Westside Cubs to college, high school to college to coaching, your playing days at Michigan. And so now all that encompassed, and let me say this, let me be the first. We got a Hall of Famer right here.
Thank you.
Our first Hall of Famer. Our first one.
I appreciate that.
Congratulations on being inducted to the Coaches Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Dame. I appreciate that. Thank you guys, man. That means a lot. You don't get into it for that, but once you get to a point in your career, you realize that it's a possibility. It's special. So it's very special for me. 26 years coaching, high school, college. I coached at Wayne State for 2 years. Coaching women's football. So to be able to do it and then to be recognized by your peers, man, it don't get no better than that.
Don't get no better than that.
And you guys know this. For us, we do it because we want our kids. We want to have a legacy. We want to be able to say we did something in our lives, whatever it is, that they can look back and they can say, look, my mom, my dad, my uncle, my brother, they did something special. And, I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I was able to do something special, but I'm proud that I was able to do it in a community form, in a commitment form where I gave back, and it wasn't about the money.
Because we all know high school coaches.
No,
they're not doing it for the money.
Man, it wasn't money. It was for the love of the game, and it was to make our young people better and those young ladies better in life. Football was a part of it, of course, but to prepare them for the world and make them better human beings. So, man, it was. Look, I got that call, and I don't.
Yeah, that's interesting.
How was the call?
That was one of the questions we was gonna ask.
How was the call?
How was the call?
Look,
don't tear up on us now.
Yeah, man. So I got a call saying that I would have been elected, not selected. So we all know if you've been elected, you've been nominated. Let me take that back. I apologize. I was nominated. So I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. I'm nominated. Just like you nominated for an Emmy. You're nominated for a Grammy. I was like, oh, well, that don't mean I'm going to get in. It just means that, I was nominated. So I called, my brother knows this, and he going to laugh. I call him first. God knows I call my mom and dad. It pisses them off because I call him first.
Right.
Bro, I got nominated. He was like, you getting in? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't get in. He was like, yeah, but you getting in.
Right.
So I called him, and the nomination came. And then this was months later, during the pandemic. So I'm at home, and I get a phone call, and the gentleman was like, hey, Tony, look, I just wanted to let you know that you have been selected into the Michigan High School Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame.
Wow.
2021.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So I was just like, wow,
I know you just said that.
It was. And I was at home, and I just was like, I was screaming, and I was just like, wow, I can't believe it.
Right.
I've done some things in my life. I won championships. I've been a part of some things way bigger, on a standpoint of just a high school level. I've been a part of 4 Big Ten championships. I played in Rose Bowls and won Rose Bowl championships. But by far, that was the most exhilarating, most gratifying thing to hear that. Just for me, because I know I had put the time in. I know I had worked. I know I had committed myself to other people throughout those years of my life. So it felt cool, man, for somebody to say, hey, man, congratulations and thank you for what you've done for others.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that.
As athletes and as coaches, we often, we don't get an opportunity to kind of sit back and reflect on our careers or reflect on games, etc. Because we're always preparing for the next game or preparing for the next, the coaching job or whatever the case may be. So when you think about, being from Finkel,
yeah, wow,
and making it to the Hall of Fame, doing something that you love, what is the 1 or 2 words that really comes to mind when you think about that?
Unbelievable. That's for real. That's humbling, bro. That puts me in a whole different perspective. My and a lot of us at this age, we have god brothers and god sisters. My god sister Janet Mitchell, she actually lives in Oak Park. She posted on Facebook. She was like, my little brother from Finkel Manor. Is a Hall of Famer. And I thought that was just so cool, man. And from where we come from, all the things we've seen, all of us, and throughout our lives, you don't ever see that. Like I never saw that. No. I'm on Finkel. I'm on Manor.
Right.
I'm seeing people get killed. I'm seeing people getting high. I'm seeing, prostitution. I'm seeing a lot of things that a lot of people in the world don't see. But we saw it, and we've been seeing it, and it's our normalcy.
Right. Yeah.
So to be able to come out of all of that, off Finkel Manor, off, being in the hood, and be able to go and give back to the community, and then be able to be represented and appreciated for it, and given an award for it, yeah, that's unbelievable. Because that's not what I was doing it for. It's not what I saw. I didn't see it. I didn't know that was coming. So
yeah, you coached and you played with the right frame of mind. Yeah, and you did it for the right reasons, and you were successful, and you obviously got a little bit of luck, and you deserve it.
Appreciate
again,
that.
From us, from the Brown College Bros, congratulations.
Definitely glad to have you here.
Thank you guys, man.
And I'm glad you came and shared your wisdom and your knowledge and just told us about Tony Blankenship, because a lot of people, they know Tony Blankenship. If you didn't go to Murray, or if you did go to Murray, everybody know the Blankenship brothers, but they need to know your story.
Yeah.
They need to know it's just not, this, that, and the other. They need to know I'm here, I've been there, I came back, I'm giving, and this is what you see is what you get.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me, man.
Well, before we let you out of here,
we got 3 things. Actually, we got a couple of things for you. Go ahead.
This is our 313 segment. This is our Detroit segment, the 313 segment.
All right. We got,
so we got 3 questions for you.
Okay.
So the first one is, name the 3 best players you've ever coached.
Wow.
regardless of competition level. And they will be listening.
Man, y'all doing me
Don't
like
forget
that?
about the demolition now. Don't
I'm
forget
about
about
to
the
say,
demolition.
Hey, man, there's going to be some kids out here. And I
Yeah.
get grown men now, but
Right,
they
right,
happy
right.
about
Yeah.
this,
Oh,
man.
coach. What,
This is gonna hurt some feelings right here.
Yeah.
Man.
But it's the D.
It's
Nothing's
the D.
easy in the D.
That's why I said
3
3-1-3.
best players. All right, I'm gonna start with, because ladies are first, and I got to do this because I won 5 national championships with these women. I'm gonna say Lori Aaron,
Okay.
and I have to do that. And anybody who know me, they know why. Whatever, she's a legend.
Okay.
She played University of Iowa and played tailback for us for 3 years. Won 3. She went undefeated. She didn't lose a game.
She didn't lose a game.
Wow.
Yeah, she was.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Shout out to the Lord.
yeah.
You got 2 more, coach. 2 more.
Hey, we just getting started.
Man, can I get like 4?
No, this is not the 4-1-3.
No honorable mention here.
Man, y'all gotta
No
be
honorable
kidding
mention
me.
here.
No, 2 more. You got 2 more.
26 years,
Hey,
y'all
man,
only
you-
come up with 3 kids?
You a
3
Hall of-
people?
Or it don't
Hall
matter
of
if they
Famer.
kids. It could be your brother, whoever. But
Okay, so I played with 2.
That you ever coached.
coach. Oh, you said
I
coach.
ain't
That
coached
you
my
ever
brother.
coached.
You said coach.
Man, this
Okay.
is horrible, man. Oh, man. Look, anybody I don't mention, blame it on my head and on my heart. And blame it on them.
Okay. All right.
Because y'all know you're great to me. All right, I got to say this, man. This kid, his name is Brandon Person.
Okay.
Brandon played quarterback for me at Southwestern.
Okay.
And he was a safety as well. And he actually had a free agent stint with the Arizona Cardinals. So he was my first NFL kid.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Dream teamer. Played at Tiffin University and got picked up from there.
Wow, he had to be good if he played at a Division II.
Yep,
That's Division
Division
II. Yep.
So Brandon Person is going to be number 2. Oh, man. This is hard, man. This is going to break somebody's heart, man. Because people can't argue Brandon. They can't. Whatever. They can say what they want to say. The dude was a stud. But this is, man. Oh. This is so bad. Hey, Cam, they better not do this to you, bro.
Oh, he thinking
gonna
he is
get it
now.
too.
He thinking he is now.
We're gonna get this too.
He already got his. He see what you going through. He said, I already got that.
Oh, bro, you need to take some notes, man. So I called some dudes and tell them.
Right.
Oh, man. Okay. Oh, man.
Murray Wright,
Oh,
Denby,
yeah, I
Southwest,
Bradford,
Yeah,
Demolition,
man. Yeah,
Michigan.
So I've covered
Wayne
2.
State.
All right.
Right.
I'm just going to do this because it needs to be done. This kid's name is Richard Keel.
Okay.
Okay? A lot of people from the Murray Wright family know exactly who he is. He played for me at Murray. He was a phenomenal athlete. This kid played baseball. He was one of the best baseball players in the state. And he went to Central Michigan. He played DB up there, and Mike DeBorg and those guys, and Goody, Goodson, my boy, who's an offensive coordinator, assistant head coach for the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Okay.
They recruited him at the time. Man, he shouldn't have played no freaking DB at Central Michigan. That's just he would have played on Sundays. He was special. I mean, he was really, really special, man. So yeah, I got to go with him.
Okay.
Because and one thing, he was my first Division I kid too for Murray.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
3 firsts. Well,
Yeah.
2 firsts.
We're 2
yeah,
first. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
First.
That's very true. So all 3 firsts really, because at the end of the day, they
First,
yep.
Demolition
Demolition,
Championship.
yep. So she won that. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I never put it that
There
way.
you
Never
go.
even thought of it that way. I appreciate you. You bailed me out.
I threw a live for you. Now you got your Facebook response.
I got it all
right.
back. You can't.
Yep.
They all first.
Yep.
And Richard Keel, he coached for years in the city right now. He's been a head coach at a couple different places.
And that's another thing to be proud of right there.
Very much. He coached
Come
for me
off your tree.
with the Demolition. He's one
Yeah.
of my kids from the tree.
Yeah.
He's an amazing human being, but man, that dude was special, man. And I was at Murray. We were building that program, and unfortunately, we didn't have the success until after they left. But they built it. But I have to put him up there, man. He has to be the guy.
Cool.
Yep.
Now you're 1. What's your proudest sports moment?
Man, y'all tripping.
I know you got several, but hey, could be the hard. Hey, it could be pick one. Pick one.
What did they do? Hey, man, look, this show.
When you came down, you said what kind of questions? We said we got some basic questions for you.
These are some great. Y'all are good, man. This show better go nationwide. I want to be on.
We're trying to get there. We're trying to get there.
Shoot.
From your lips to God's ears.
Hey, man,
right.
Put it out there in the universe.
Yeah.
And it's gonna happen for you guys. That's a great question, man.
Rose Bowl, Big Ten championships, Rose Bowls, Little League football.
So as a
player, as a coach, your proudest sports moment.
My proudest sports moment, and this has to be when I was coaching, correct?
Doesn't have to be. It could be when you were playing.
You know what? I'm gonna say this, and this was very special. When we won the Rose Bowl in '92 at Michigan. At that particular time in my life, that was the proudest I'd ever been athletically. And I had won championships with the Westside Cubs every year almost, and we were successful at Murray. But that was, and the demolition is great too, don't get me wrong, but I have to go to my roots because my roots is where it came from and where it began, where I was able to feel it for the first time, and that's the first time I felt it. In 1992 in Pasadena, and we beat Washington because Washington had beat us out of us the year before in '91 in the Rose Bowl, and very seldom are you able to do that.
Right, they play the same team again in a bowl game.
In the bowl game, and we played them in the Rose Bowl and we beat them, and I just never forget, how amazing that felt, man. We were the kings of the world. Yeah, that day because Michigan is just whatever it is that it's big in this country. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with the Rose Bowl, 1992 Rose Bowl.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. Your last three of the three, 1-3. 3 people that inspired you growing up.
Okay, this is not hard. This is easy. My mom, my dad, and my brother.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I figured when we were making up the questions, I figured, definitely your dad, because I know what he do for a living, and about him being a pastor.
Yep.
And I know Joe.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So
keeping it in the family.
No, man, that's easy, man. That's again, go from your roots.
That's right. That's right. Well, Tony Blankenship.
The
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. Appreciate you,
man. For joining us.
Hey, man, thank you guys, man. Much love to you guys, bro. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Much love to you, man.
Where can the people find you on social media?
Man, I'm on Instagram, tblank31, and I'm on Facebook. It just says Tony Blankenship.
All right, fantastic.
So,
fantastic.
Thank you guys for having me, man.
Again, thanks for joining us.
Another
episode of the Brown Couch Bros. It's the Honcho and The Loaf signing out.
3, 2, 1. We're out.
Peace.